A lot of people may not know that I was a former track athlete. I did decathlon, the 10 events. And one event I did was called the Shotput. Many people probably have seen it, where you're hurling this heavy ball at the furthest distance that you can. Well, I went to college based on, this is one of the first things that, I was known for. And so I started to apply my knowledge in the technique and the physics behind the shot put to my punching power. There was these things called the Impacts Challenge in national karate tournaments, right? Where there was an apparatus, a bag that you hit, and it registered how hard you hit it. So you would pay your entrance fee, and you register, you can register how many times you want to try to get the highest punch that you can muster, your pounds per square inch. Well, the first competition, I ended up winning it. And so the winner keeps the bag. And so I took it home, and, I started becoming obsessed with breaking my own record. And so I brought it to class, and then I would do all of these different experiments with proper technique. Now, sometimes I gotta explain, the most maximum effort doesn't mean it has the most maximum effect. Okay, what you want is maximum effect, least effort. So utilize your body properly for the proper technique. When we see any high-level athlete, it looks like they're effortless, slam dunk and everything. A great golf swing, a great bat swing looks effortless. That's because the mechanics are there. A lot of times when people hit a bag, they're doing all of this, and you're feeling like you're making the effort, but many times that effort is dissipated. Think about an egg being thrown onto this bag. It will just splat. The energy moves this way. I may smack a bag like this, makes a lot of noise, but that energy is just spread on the epidermis of the bag. What we want is penetration, okay? We want to penetrate into our target. A lot of times that doesn't look very impressive or make a lot of noise, just like a boxer that throws that short punch. That's derived by the body. That's derived by proper mechanics. And that's what I'm trying to teach, okay? So one of the things I did, like when I would win the Impacts Challenge after the first one, I took it home and I kept breaking my own record. And so every other Impacts Challenge that I entered, I won them all. I had to agree to come late or register my strikes late, so everybody could spend their money, and I could register one punch and one kick and then take the thing home. So that taught me a great deal. And that's one of those things that when I brought it, I would bring the bag to class, and women with really good technique were hitting better than bodybuilders who threw all this effort there that just dissipated, all right? So this is another reason to instruct you on how to punch correctly and strengthen your supportive muscles and your joints, everything, so you can deal with the force that your body is bringing. All right, so that's very important, because you can hurt yourself if you don't know how to do that. Now, if you need to wrap your hands, do so. If you've seen Never Back Down 3, there's a little part where I talk about wrapping your hands, because a lot of people don't learn how to punch correctly. I've never had to wrap my hands one day, and I've never had a wrist or any kind of hand injury in striking, and I've been striking for all my life. So again, those things that I talked about, learning the proper fist, learning how to get your your forearm to secure the rest of your punch is very important. Take your time, all right? Don't do anything full blast at first. When we strike, again, like the arrow, we want our punch, our elbow, and our two knuckles to travel in the same path, okay? Our strikes should be at the end of our rotation, all right? A lot of people will strike like this, all right? So this is not at utilizing my hip and the ground. I want to end my strike turning my hip, my whole body, all right? Practice slowly. Here, see? My elbow and my fist going the same direction. Not flailing out. Here's another thing, all right? This goes back to history. Now, this and this, major differences, all right? I want to bring my elbow not here, but here. Lock it into my body. There is something that you might have seen a lot of my martial artists out there. You've seen Bruce Lee do this. You see him doing that. This is a very important aspect to traditional martial arts. Starting from Goju, well, starting from White Crane way back then. But locking this, my whole arm is starting from here to here, not from here. This could be resisted. This is not nearly as strong as that. Now my body's locked into this. Very much like a crane. Not this kind of crane, but a crane that lifts heavy objects. There is a counterbalance, okay? There is a counterbalance that roots that crane into the ground. Not here. If a crane had to lift something heavy here, it could break. It has to be here, right? Have somebody resist your arm. This is a Goju practice where you lock in here. So now my punch starts here to here, not just here. All right? That's another little tidbit. You see Bruce Lee doing that. That's what that's about. All right? So I want to turn, and my blow is at the end of my turn. Boom. These mechanics, everything should have a half turn. All right? Another reason not to stop here, because I'm open here. I'm open here. Okay? If I punch like this, I'm open. You can see where you can hit me. From here, you barely can. My jaw is protected by my shoulder. Good luck hitting me. Boom. And I've utilized turning of my hip. That's the power. That's where the power comes from. Look at any baseball player. What's that? That's where the power is coming from. The hip rotation. Golf, the hip rotation. Punching, the hip rotation, just like the shot put. If I flared my arm out like this, my shot put's landing about 2 feet short of my best. All right? So that's one aspect. Now, here's another. Here's a simple and very low budget way to practice proper technique. This is just a hanger, all right? I just made a loop because what I want you to do is know how to punch straight, your arm straight and coming straight back. That technique is very important, that it travel straight. Because what happens when we do things fast, our elbows will flare out, then making this impossible to go straight. I'd have to then do this, okay? But with my weapon straight like an arrow, I punch straight. That arrow goes in and out. Practice this slowly till you get it right.